So I'm pretty much the CEO of aesthetic desk makeovers at this point, as I've done ones that have gotten millions of views, a Sanrio desk, a pink cat desk for my subscriber Rumi, but this entire time I've actually been hiding a huge and really embarrassing secret from you guys. Because the truth is, my actual room, the one that I sleep in, the one I'm supposed to work in, is, well, how do I say it? It's beige. Like, aggressively beige. I know, it's bad, okay? And in my defense, it used to be cuter, okay? But a few years ago, I took everything down, told myself I'd figure out my style and make it over, and then proceeded not to, so now it's been sitting here in this weird beige cave phase for years, to the point where I literally work anywhere but my room because of how boring it is. But alas, that ends today, because after years of procrastinating on this, I'm finally turning this into my dream Sunbeam to Studio, which is basically the small business I've been secretly building behind the scenes with help from Printful, the print-on-demand platform I use to turn my ideas into real products. But more on that later. There was chaos, questionable decisions, a cursed wisteria tree that was worse than a whomping willow, and a few mental breakdowns sprinkled in, but this ultimately became my favorite desk makeover of all time. And so come along with me on this very chaotic journey, finally making over my desk and creating Sunbeam to Studio. Alrighty, so the first thing I wanted to fix was definitely the window, because as of right now, this is the view, which let's just say is not exactly giving magical inspiration vibes, because we've got trash cans, driveway, rocks, and also my little brother's friends are just constantly outside, walking around, doing crazy stuff. They can literally just see directly in, hence why I literally moved my bed to block the window and just would keep the curtains closed at all times, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a window in the first place. And on top of that, the only time I kind of get semi-direct sunlight is like for a couple hours early in the morning. So instead of trying to fix the outside view, I decided to completely change how the light comes in. So my vision was for the whole setup to be inspired by the Sunbeam to Studio products I was bringing to life with Printful, and consequently, I wanted the room itself to feel like the brand had come to life. Soft, bright, colorful, and of course, ideally with rainbow sunbeams, since that's literally part of the name, and also in the logo I designed. So I do really love the view of the trees, of the tree right outside my window. So instead of completely covering it, I added these little cloud decals. And oh my god, do I love these. They do still catch the light in a really pretty way. So then after that, I added hanging disco balls, which I've always thought look really cool with the light, and then a crystal sun catcher. And in the early morning, once the sun actually hits them, it creates these little rainbow reflections all over the room, which I am obsessed with. So at this point, I was starting to realize that the window was becoming this kind of glowy, slightly magical focal point of the desk makeover, but there was still one problem that I came across, and it was this very ugly, no offense or anything, very brown, very noticeable curtain rod that just clashed with the whole vibe. So naturally, instead of doing something simple, I decided to build clouds over it, which, to be clear, it was not originally part of my master plan, it just kind of happened. So I started attaching these cloud pieces along the top, And somehow it actually worked and came together, and it looked like there were clouds floating right above the window, which just tied everything together way better than I expected. And then of course I added the pastel curtains underneath to kind of soften everything and bring in more color and match that kind of rainbow vibe, but not too much. And then finally I added some hanging crystal drops to make it look even more aesthetic and have even more light effects. And finally, of course, the little LED lights. And in my humble opinion, it went from being one of the worst parts of the room to becoming one of the best. I had this vision of building a wisteria tree in the corner of my room, and I genuinely, naively went into this thinking that it was going to be a cute, easy, and quick little semi-DIY Pinterest moment.
Literally jump rope.
Look at me here, so optimistic, so carefree. The light has not yet left my eyes. I have no idea what's about to happen, because this was not cute, quick, or easy. This was, without question, the worst part of the entire makeover. First of all, I had to build the actual trunk, which I did using Amazon's wrapping paper, some tape, and confidence that only came from obliviousness, because immediately things were not going well. It was a struggle to get the branches to stay and intertwine, and I had to try 3 different tapes before I finally found a good one, and I kept forgetting which direction I was twisting in and having to redo everything. I tried multiple ways to get it to stick on the wall based on YouTube tutorials, painter's tape and hot glue, regular tape, etc., and yet again, nothing worked. I ended up having to purchase different double-sided heavy-duty tapes and try them out, and also some pins to finally get the trunk to stay.
Almost done.
But I thought, okay, maybe once I add the flowers, then it will get easier and all come together. But when the flowers arrived, they were awful. Like, wrong color with weird green bits dangling that looked like boogers, and just no. So I returned them, ordered new ones, waited, opened them, and they were also bad. At this point, it felt like the tree was taunting me, that it was trying to wring every last bit of my patience and sanity out of me. And so, I officially declared war, and I was not going to lose. Yeah, let's just say that this whole tree saga definitely confirmed to me that while I love a good DIY, I am unfortunately absolutely not cut out for hand-making products for a small business. Mad respect to the artists that do that though, I genuinely wish I had your patience. But yeah, as you guys will see later, print on demand via Printful was literally the only way that I didn't completely lose my sanity trying to hand make my first products in my room from scratch. The wisteria tree was enough for me.
Is agreeing, hopefully. I think it worked.
So the war began, and everything became significantly more aggressive. I was reordering flowers, lights, the whole shebang, and nothing was cooperating. The trunk was still unstable. When I finally figured out which flowers were best, they were only available in little batches, and I kept having to order more since I'd underestimate how many I actually needed since they only came in packs of 6. The flowers also kept falling off no matter what I used, double-sided tape, pins, etc. The white lights were the wrong colors, so I had to redo them since I couldn't find matching colored ones, and I ended up having to hide the more warm and yellowish ones above in the canopy and behind the trunk, and the slightly cooler, whiter lights along the front of the trunk since they wouldn't match. And when I tried to install the lamp that I got with a rope that matched the trunk, or the lights in the canopy, every time I would go up there, half of the flowers would fall down. Basically, my head kept bonking different flowers and causing them to fall whenever I'd put one up, so it was like one flower up, one flower down. But eventually, after way more time than I would like to admit, it started to come together, and somehow it was worth all the chaos.
Y'all, don't do it. Don't do it.
Maybe. So now that I've defeated the Whomping Wisteria and assembled the two side tables, which technically come together to make a flower, which is perfect for the slight 70s vibe I'm going for, it was finally time for my favorite part of desk makeovers. You guessed it, ASMR desk decorating. Okay, quick pause here because those of you who are observant might recognize these from the start of the video. So as I mentioned earlier, this entire desk setup is actually inspired by something I've been secretly working on behind the scenes for half a year, Sunbeam to Studio. And you're probably wondering, well, what is Sunbeam to Studio? Well, dear viewer, I've been making desk makeovers and stationery videos for 10 years. Ugh, I know, it's scary how time flies. And all these years, I dreamed of making my own products and small business, but never did. I just kept getting overwhelmed by all the logistics of it all, from factories to prototypes to storing inventory, money, shipping, and plus I'd always have the excuse of, I'm too busy with studying right now, or now is not the time. And so, lo and behold, it's 10 years later and the perfect time never came, the logistics are still logisticking, and nothing was happening by itself. Ow, my foot! So I finally decided to follow my own advice and just start. Even if it's version 1, even if it's not perfect, even if I have no clue what I'm doing, I just promised myself I'd launch it by my 10-year anniversary on YouTube. So step 1 was finding the easiest, least overwhelming way to actually begin, which is where Printful came in. They're sponsoring this video, and a huge thank you to them because genuinely they're the reason I was able to do this at all. So Printful uses a print-on-demand model, which basically means I can design and sell my custom products, but Printful handles the actual manufacturing and shipping since the products are only made and shipped when a customer actually orders one. AKA, I don't have to bulk order hundreds of items in advance from unknown random factories, store all of the products in my room and pack and ship them myself, or risk a ton of money up front selling products that nobody wants to buy. Which definitely made this whole idea finally feel way less overwhelming and actually doable. But then I hit my next problem, which quite simply was I had zero freaking clue what I wanted to make, which is kind of a big problem because younger me loved the idea of a cute aesthetic small business, but never once asked, well, what would I actually want to create? And I was pretty stumped for a little while, but then I remembered a wise quote, write what you'd want to read. So I thought, okay, I'll make what I want to use. So as I scrolled through Printful looking for what products they have available, which by the way, they have a ton of different products in all sorts of niches and styles, I finally narrowed down on two main things. I wanted to make something that addressed focus and planning. Because let's just say, as an ADHD girly, y'all really clocked it before I did, I've tried every planning format under the sun. But of course, nothing ever lasted long, mostly because I just kept overcomplicating things or they just didn't fit the way my brain works. That's why last year I gradually gravitated back to planning pads, but I kind of didn't really like them. Honestly, I felt like Goldilocks because they were either too plain and kind of boring for me, or they were aesthetic but not actually very functional, or functional but had a bunch of random sections I never used, like water. When was the last time I drank water? I know, it's a problem. And then there's the sections that I actually needed, which weren't even there. So I stopped trying to find the perfect daily planning pad for me and just finally made it myself. So behold, this is the Focus Flow pad, and it's literally my entire day on one page. The number one most important thing here for me is the appointments. Appointments, because I will forget them. So they need to be at the top of the page. Also, because I have roughly 10 million ideas and things I want to do flying through my brain at any given moment, I needed a brain dump that I could just write stuff in during my work sessions so that I stopped grabbing my phone every 5 seconds to write something down. I also definitely wanted an hourly flow that did not have times pre-made, because on days I sleep in, I do not want to be reminded that I wasted half the day, okay? And most importantly, the top 3 priorities section. Not 20 things, not 50 things, just the 3 things that actually matter that day. Because otherwise, I will do and prioritize literally everything except what I actually needed to do. And the pad is called Focus Flow because I designed it so that it visually flows from morning to night and by different areas of life. And most importantly, the most life-changing thing is that it finally removes decision fatigue because it limits my options of how many things I can put to do in a single day. And I can just focus on following the flow. So then afterwards, I made Focus Forward, which I use at night, because if you guys have watched my Ambitious but Lazy video, you'll probably know that I love reverse planning. Because in the past, no matter how much I got done on my to-do list, while I'd be laying in bed at night, my brain would still fixate on all of the things that I didn't do. So reverse planning is where I flip it, and right before I go to sleep, I write down what I actually did, what went well, what moved forward, and 0 negativity. Only positive things and things I actually did. And it takes me just 5 minutes to fill it out, but it helps me so much just to reset my brain before going to sleep, because it helps my brain notice and actually praise myself for what I did instead of constantly focusing on what I didn't. So the other product I absolutely wanted to make was this Focus Fuel glass, because y'all know I love me some cute drinkware. And I always start off my morning with an iced coffee or matcha, and the Focus Fuel design just motivates me a bit, and it's also kind of like a placebo effect. Finally, I also made a notebook and phone case with the logo I designed, and let's just say that the Sunbeam to Studio logo went through a journey. So it actually originally looked like an evil sun baby. No, I'm not kidding, it had red eyes, okay? But after being rightfully bullied by my friends and family, I finally landed on this. A disco sun, a kind of mother of pearl cloud, and rainbow sunbeams. Very 70s inspired, if you couldn't tell, I'm obsessed with that era. But then when I finally proudly showed my logo to my mom, she was like, it kind of looks like an egg, you should change it. So I was about to change it, but then I was like, wait, it's perfect, because now it's also a sunny side up egg. Hence the new motto I made, living life sunny side up. So once I had the ideas and designs down, which I made in Canva, Procreate, and also my uncle helped out because he's an artist, I uploaded everything into Printful, checked the mockups, ordered prototypes, fixed a couple mistakes, and then made the website and finally connected my store through Printful. Also, Printful lets you download their mockup photos and also allows you to adjust the prices and markups, profits, and provide your billing information, etc. But yeah, after 3 billion steps, Sunbeam to Studio finally actually exists, which honestly still feels unreal. And yeah, I quite literally use these products every single day. So even if this whole thing was just a huge waste of time and a total flop and my only customer is me, honestly, all the effort, time, and money I spent on prototypes is still worth it to me, because at least I can finally say I actually did it and I actually started. But if you do want to check them out, the products are linked below, so is the website, and of course, be sure to check out Printful if you have a small business idea of your own and you want to finally get started, or even if you just want to make some customized gifts for friends and family, because they're perfect for that too. Again, a huge thank you to Printful, and the link is in the description box. Well, alrighty, enough of that. Let's finally finish the Sunbeam to Studio desk. And just like that, after months of designing and planning, approximately 7 emotional breakdowns, 1 Wisteria Tree war, and a deeply unnecessary amount of clouds, the beige cave that was my room finally became my real-life Sunbeam to studio. And I know it's literally just a desk makeover, but to me it feels like a lot more than that because I finally made a space that truly matches the version of myself I'm trying to become, more creative, more focused, more joyful, and slightly less, well, beige. And just seeing the Sunbeam to Studio products in the finished setup just made the whole thing finally feel real. Like it wasn't just a random idea sitting in a Canva file somewhere anymore. It was an actual tiny first step towards the small business that I've always wanted to create for years. So again, thank you so much to Purple for sponsoring this whole video and helping me bring my first products in Sunbeam to Studio to life. And yeah, if you've ever wanted to make your own custom products without dealing with inventory and shipping everything yourself, I highly recommend checking them out, and I'll have my Purple link in the description and pinned comment. And if you guys want to check out Sunbeam to Studio, I'll have those links below too. Thank you guys again for watching, for being here for 10 years of desk makeovers and stationery chaos, and hopefully this is just the beginning. So stay tuned for part 2 where I make over the whole room, as well as my next desk makeovers for my subscribers. It's there. Where are you? Don't you dare run at me. Fredwood, where are you? I am coming to get you, sir. So this is how I'm using my Focus Flow planning pad by capturing Fredward. He literally tried to run at my face. God, Fredward, why?